Good morning, good life, everyone. Welcome back to Amy TV, where we come together to help you go after the life you want. Meditation is one of those practices that seems to split people right down the middle when it comes to their opinion. You have the people who have loved it and rave about how it's benefited their lives, and then you have the people that don't love it so much or haven't tried it at all and chalk it up to something that won't work for them. Well, I thought, what if it doesn't work for the people that are just not sticking with it? Just like any other thing, when you don't put in the work, you don't see the results. So that's why I decided I'm gonna meditate for 30 days straight and see what happens. As I've already shared with you, I didn't have a long list of New Year's resolutions this year. In fact, I only had one. But I did have a list of things that I wanted to start, stop, and continue. On that list of continue was meditation. I've been dabbling in it for a number of years, and when I say dabble, I mean try it and forget to do it for many moons, and then try to do it again, and it doesn't do much for you when you have that type of sporadic practice. Since I could tell it was a good habit, but it was one of those ones where it's so hard to make time for it, I knew I had to reassess my prioritization of this. So that's why I'm continuing with it, and all of 2019 so far, I have been meditating in the mornings. I've only missed 2 days, and as of today, I hit 30 days straight. I did it! Something you should know is this is not just a, oh, I want to feel really nice and lovely about the world kind of thing. Meditation has been proven to benefit you on the science side of your brain. A 2011 study conducted by Harvard actually documented for the first time that meditation could produce changes over time in the brain's gray matter. Gray matter is important because it is directly responsible for a lot of things like hearing and seeing and memory and impulse control and emotions and a slew of other things. And as we age, that gray matter naturally decreases. Sarah Lazar is the study's senior author, and she said, although the practice of meditation is associated with a sense of peacefulness and physical relaxation, practitioners have long claimed that meditation also provides cognitive and psychological benefits that persist throughout the day. The study demonstrates that changes in brain structure may underlie some of these reported improvements, and that people are not just feeling better because they are spending time relaxing. Meditation is not the only thing that increases gray matter, so does yoga and taking your omega-3s. So since I do those things too, I just figured I gotta stick with this habit. Now that I've completed 30 days in a row, I wanna share some surprising things that happened in this journey so far. Before we dig into today's discussion, I have to give a little bit of Twitter gratitude, and this one goes to @YogaInspiresYou. How appropriate. Thank you so much for tuning into this show and for retweeting my latest video. I acknowledge you for your time and attention, and I appreciate it so much. If you would potentially like to see your name here mentioned, then make sure you follow me on Twitter and retweet my latest video when it comes out, because I will be randomly selecting somebody to give a Twitter gratitude shout out to. And one super fun sidebar is that this episode of Amy TV is brought to you by my podcast, Detail Therapy. From morning routines to success steps that they've actually taken in their lives, I sit down with people that are actresses, Olympians, bloggers, executives, and even my best friend to just talk about the details of how we make this happen. And yes, there's a lot of therapy too. More details and show notes are at detailspodcast.com. So first, let's talk about the specifics of my meditation practice, how I did it. First and foremost, I scheduled the time in at the beginning of every day. I wake up, I do my skincare, I get my lemon water, and I sit down to meditate. That is what happens at the start of every morning as of the last 30 days. I make time for 10 minutes, that's it, 10 minutes of meditation, and it is guided by an app called Headspace, and I use my AirPods so that there is complete silence and an immersive experience while I listen to really the most soothing guided meditation voice I think there ever could be. I gave myself a progress reward. We've talked about this in the past, like rewards and treats. So after 10 straight days of meditation, I allowed myself to buy a sitting pillow or a meditation pillow on Amazon, of course. This made it a lot easier for me to keep my posture while I was sitting and not get achy, and especially when you have to be so in tune with your body and you're thinking about your body, especially the way it walks you through the practice. I wanted to feel like I was doing my body a justice by giving myself a specific place to sit. And it's just that simple. Sit on the pillow first thing in the morning, put the earbuds in, press play on whatever meditation I was doing that day. I started with the focus track in Headspace, and then I finished with the beginning of the stress track, or managing stress. I got through all 30 days of that focus track. I highly recommend it. I really enjoyed that one. Here are some things I discovered from that 30 days. First of all, just building the habit. I really found that it was a lot easier because this app in particular is holding me accountable. So I loved seeing that little ticker go up every time I had done another day of meditation in a row, and how many minutes of meditation I've done total as long as I've been using the app. That's just a little bonus of accountability. It's not something I need to show up. Some people might rely on it more, but for me it was more of a gamification thing that I loved. I also improved my visualization skills. I didn't think this was going to happen because I hadn't really connected the dots on meditation and visualization, because to me I'm just like, meditation, don't think about anything. But actually they teach you really well in this practice, in this guided meditation, of how to visualize and how to not pressure yourself to visualize too hard, so that it's a soft focus, whether your eyes are open or shut. They're probably shut for the majority of the time, and you're not doing something that makes you feel uncomfortable or makes you want to have your thoughts veer away, but makes you feel like you have something to fixate on, so you will stay in this zone, I guess. I've always thought that my visualization skills were sketch at best, and they felt like they improved by the time I was done. I also really started to enjoy it. I know that sounds stupid, but I don't think I realized I was actually gonna like it. Now I'm like, ooh, I get to go sit alone and nobody is going to bother me. This is fantastic. It's the best excuse in the world. And then you do just that, and it actually pays you back so much in your mental health. It's just kind of fun to have something like that to look forward to in your day. Another really surprising discovery is that the more practice I had with this, the more I found I was finding other pockets of ways to meditate throughout my day. First of all, they kind of point out to you, now that you're growing this skill, and especially the visualization piece, find 30 seconds throughout your day that's not during this time period that you can practice this and just have a moment to yourself. I found that I was making those moments happen, and that was really helpful. But also just other things like journaling or a typical task that might be very mundane. I was more mindful in those moments, and it felt very meditative, and it felt like I was pulling from that clarity that I was giving myself for 10 minutes every morning. Another big realization I did not think that I was going to have was that I thought 10 minutes wasn't enough. I decided to stick with 10 minutes for the duration of the 30 days because I didn't want to throw myself for a loop. I didn't end up wanting to be at 15 minutes or 20 minutes and then mess up the entire process of feeling like I was doing pretty good. I thought if I can hang for 10 minutes for 30 days straight, then I will discuss with myself, let's try something more. Let's do a little bit more time. I will probably go to 15 minutes starting tomorrow, just because it does feel like, I think the guided meditation is a little bit generous with the 10 minutes because they do some coaching before you're actually supposed to stop and close your eyes and get into the whole thing. So I do feel like they're just trying to get you into the mode before the actual meditation starts, and then they kind of talk you out of it after and make you check on how you feel when you're done. And it's not much more than 10 minutes for that whole process. So I love that they give you credit for the whole thing, but I do feel like I can do a few more minutes. With all the things they're walking you through throughout that time, I definitely think 15 would be a good spot for me at this point. Another thing I'm super appreciative of, because I can feel the result of it right now. Like, I can't tell if my gray matter is doing good. I mean, I think it is. But something I can tell is that I'm a lot less judgmental about having thoughts happen during meditation that feel like they're not supposed to be happening. It's like that annoying friend that comes in the room when they're not supposed to come in the room. That's what the thoughts feel like when you're first starting. You're like, no, stop it, go away, go away, go away, because you're embarrassing me right now. I'm trying to be cool. Like, that's what it feels like. That stopped happening, and I think that's just a message for life, right? Like, something that would bother you like that in real life will bother you less when you start to get out of your own self and into your mind a little bit more, and chilling out your mind and not making a big deal about everything. A thought comes in and then it goes away when you're like, oh, sorry, it's not the time for that right now. Like, it's fine. And so I realized what they say about a thought comes in and you just see a thought and then you see a thought go away, not I'm in the thought. That started to make more sense over time, because that's where the lack of judging really played itself out. Was, oh, I'm still thinking about this, I'm still thinking about this, I'm still thinking about this, versus like, oh, I thought about that, that's interesting. and then moving on. Does that make any sense? Oh my God, I don't know what I'm saying. And the last thing I think that's really, hopefully not too surprising, but still feels surprising, but also feels great, is that I'm generally happier throughout the day. I think I have to put in a lot more time, and this has to be a consistent habit, and I think I need to increase my amount of time to give myself that clarity for longer periods of time per day. But I feel happier throughout the day because I've given myself so much space, literal and figurative. This whole waking up, having the morning routine, doing the things that feel right by me, doing the things that rehabilitate me as an introvert, spending time being quiet and just listening to a voice that's making me feel more centered. This all has made me feel more happy, so that when something happens later on that's like annoying, like Lucy had to go to the vet yesterday, and it was like, we think she has neck damage, like it was all this stuff, and it was just like, that's okay, let's just figure it out. And I could have just been super stressed and been like, oh my God, my 15-year-old dog is like, no, it was fine. And then guess what? I picked her up, and they were like, she's pretty much fine. She just needs to go on all these drugs. And I was like, perfect. See, it all worked out. I love feeling like I'm a little bit in control of any possible anxiety that seems like something that I could never be in control of. I'm not the type of person to get super anxious or have a lot of anxiety, but I'm a stress-filled person. Like, that's just true. I like feeling like I can control it a little bit better. And I think this is a big piece that is making that happen. All right, let me summarize what we've discovered here today. Everyone has 10 minutes to offer themselves. Don't just offer it. Take it and turn it into a beautiful lifetime. What do you think? Have you tried meditation? Are you completely not into it? Do you love it? What are your thoughts on this? Share them in the comments below. I think everyone has the right to have their opinion on this, and if it just doesn't feel like you, then do you. But if you are into it, I'd love your tips or ideas in the comments as well. Once again, don't forget to join me on Detail Therapy, my podcast I publish every Tuesday morning. So when you get your Sunday and Wednesday fill here, you got a little something in between. And I know you're going to love these episodes if you love going after the life you want. So detailspodcast.com for more information. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Make sure you remember to subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life you want. Cheers. Oh, and namaste.